Hey everybody, my name is Kobe. Today I am going to be talking to you about ThinkGeek's backpack of holding. Now, a quick thing I'd like to note about myself, I have a bag problem. I love book bags, I love messenger bags, I love all types of bags. I can't stop buying them and it's kind of bad. But anyways, enough about that. The point is, I love bags and I also love ThinkGeek. And one of the biggest products that ThinkGeek has is the bag of holding. This is my actual bag of holding that I've tried out. I'm actually going to have a review for that a little later on. But I looked at the backpack of holding for so long on ThinkGeek site thinking, oh, should I get it? Should I get it? I don't know. And one thing that sways my opinion about bags like this is online reviews. People doing YouTube videos of what their experience has been with the bag, what the bag looks like, how much stuff they can put in there, and so this actually swayed my opinion to buy the bag of holding initially. But looking around, I didn't see a whole lot of reviews about the backpack of holding, so I figured, I love bags, and I can spit out a few words, I guess. So why not? Why not try to take a quick review of it? So, with that in mind, let's talk about it. One of the first things that I always consider when I'm buying a bag or when I want a bag is the shape, right? So right off the bat, the shape here is perfect. I think it's perfectly square. It's not oversized. The dimensions are pretty, slim. It's not one that's weirdly shaped. It doesn't look, to me, at least when you look at it, it doesn't look like when you put stuff in, it's going to go here, like it's going to bulge out, and then this will be shrunken, and I take all of that into consideration. So here's the shape of the bag first. I'm going to go ahead and put it on, turn around and do a little fashion show for you. Hey. So this is what the bag looks like on an actual person. This is something that you want to take into consideration if you're worried about looks. This is what it looks like, right? I really like it. It's very comfortable for me. I think it looks great. The shape is good. Let's do a quick size comparison. If you have the bag of holding and you're thinking about going to the backpack of holding, here's the backpack of holding. Here's the bag of holding. Obviously, this is taller because it's meant to go up your back. This wouldn't look very good, hanging on your back. Whoops. This wouldn't look very good hanging on your back, I don't think. But, yeah, size comparison here. I'd say the backpack of holding is a little bit smaller, but barely. But honestly, I thought the bag of holding was a little too big, so this works perfectly for me. Moving on to our material, this, just like the bag of holding, is made out of a really sturdy canvas. So when you feel it, it doesn't feel like a cheap, thin bag that's going to flop around the wind. It maintains its shape. That's another thing that I take into consideration with a bag. I've had a lot of bags that have purported to be, rain slick and waterproof, and that's great. But then when you put stuff in the bag, it hugs everything there, and then the top just flops around, and it's just terrible. I like a bag to be sturdy enough to maintain its shape, and this is like the perfect combination, in my opinion, of being a sturdy canvas, but also having enough flexibility to where it's not, it doesn't feel cheap. It feels well made. And with that in mind, going back to putting it on, I remember the first time I put this thing on, it felt like I'd been using it for months. And that's not to say that it felt cheap, like I said. It means to say that it feels good. It feels sturdy. It feels like something that you can use for a long time. Another thing that I'd like to note about the material, we've got padded straps here. This is kind of I don't know if you've ever felt the computer chairs that have the little grooved feeling there. I don't really know how to describe that better, but it feels like one of those computer chairs. Honestly, as far as the material, that might be my only complaint, but if you're looking for like a neoprene cushioned sleeve, that's not going to happen, but this is still good enough for me. I really like it. Let's go on to the clasps and the handle, right? So the clasps here are made out of plastic. You just pop them right off there, and they pop right back in. The zippers are metal. And then the handle here, it's made out of the same canvas, but just a little bit thicker. So it's, that I will say is one complaint I do have about it, is if the bag is really heavy, this handle can be really difficult to actually hold. Because, you know, it's got no padding whatsoever, it's just a strap. So, you know, it's, I mean, it serves its purpose, it's just a matter of whether or not you like a padded handle or not. Let's move on to the buttons here. So, when we open up the clasps here, you can see that the bag unfolds. This arguably is the best feature of the bag. The way that this bag works is, instead of having just a dedicated zipper that you open up and put your books in, put your books, laptop, whatever, this rolls down, right? So I'm not very tall, but this is how far this bag unrolls, which is pretty great when you consider that you can, you know, you can take the buckle, loosen it up all the way. Let me do this. Try to do it quickly. You can loosen these buckles and straps up all the way and literally just fold the top in barely, just barely. Right? And now all your stuff is secured and your bag is, you know, much, much bigger and can hold more stuff, right? I think that's a great feature myself. Now, if you do or do not want to use that, it's totally up to you. But the nice thing about that is, to also secure it, it has these snap buttons on the side, right? So you snap, snap, and then you can open it up. You can get a little bit of a wider mouth here to put bigger things in there. And then to help secure those things, you can just snap it right back. Now, I will say another thing that does bother me about that is it takes a little getting used to. This is definitely not a bag that is good for quick, easy access. And what I mean by that is, you know, when you open up the clasps here, right? You see how tall it is. Let's say I gotta get this Sharpie out of the bottom, right? I got to reach my whole arm into the bag to get one little thing out. Now, if you are more of a looks person and you're not worried about convenience as far as reaching in and grabbing something really quick, then you know, that probably won't bother you that much. But if you're a person that likes to have easy access to things and grabbing stuff, reach in and grab it real quick, this might not be the bag for you, because it does take a little getting used to reach all the way in to grab something. Pens, pencils, it takes a little getting used to. Let's move on to the zippers. Before we take a look inside the actual bag, let's take a look at the zippers and the pockets on the outside. So, here on the outside, we've got 3 different pockets. We've got our side pockets, and we've got the main center compartment pocket, right? So, these side pockets, well, to be perfectly honest with you, they're not that big. I've got a water bottle here. When you stuff that water bottle in there, not only does it not fit very well, well, there's not really any way to hold it in there. You know, you can zip it shut as much as you can, but I mean, there's not really a way to prevent that from sloshing around. So if you like to carry a water bottle with you, if you like to carry, I don't know, a mug of coffee, unless you're confident enough in that mug of coffee to not leak and you put it inside your bag, this bag isn't really conducive to carrying water bottles and coffee mugs or anything like that. So that's kind of, you know, negative for that. But if you don't really worry about that, then that's fine. These pockets, I typically used it for my pens and pencils and whatnot. I'd put them in there like that. And then on the other side, I used to keep my laptop charger just right here. And that was that. It was pretty simple. Wasn't really a whole lot for me to deal with, but I did have to get used to, you know, putting my actual coffee mug inside the bag itself, which was scary because there was more, you know, 1 or 2 occasions where that did leak and get a little bit of coffee on my papers. But the last compartment here, the main compartment of the outside, is pretty spacious. Let's see something we can put in here. I'll just try to put the water bottle in there. It almost fits. Let's see. Here's like a pair of scissors, right? You can definitely fit like a pair of scissors. You can probably fit this whole thing in there, to be honest with you. Let's find out. Yeah, you can fit all those pens and pencils in there. And see, this is where that rigid, not rigid, but here's where that, firm canvas comes into play. We've put all these pins in here, and you don't really see a whole lot of texture. You don't see that these pins are in here. You can see something's in here, of course, but you don't see the outline of whatever's in here, which I think is pretty nice. The bag maintains its aesthetic quality while still being able to hold your stuff. So we've got all these pins in here. Let's just keep that in mind. So now we've gone over the zippers, we've gone over the pockets, we've gone over each thing here, we've gone over the clasps, we've gone over the handle. One thing we didn't go over here is that we have backpack of holding stitched in silver here along with the D20. Just a little added aesthetic that's amazing in my opinion. We've gone over the material, we've gone over the shape, we've gone over size comparison. Let's open this thing up and see what's inside. Alright guys, so let's take a closer look inside this backpack of holding. Now, immediately, I will say this is going to be a little difficult to actually look inside here because of the lighting, as well as how deep this bag goes. You can see right in here, this is your laptop sleeve. There is a small canvas strap that you can fold there and Velcro it over to keep that secured. Let's go ahead and put a laptop in there. I've got my work laptop here, so I'll just go ahead and put this in here. Now my work laptop is about 13 maybe 14 inches, so yeah, it fits in there pretty snug, no problem. When I actually take a look at where it is positionally on the bag, it stops right about here, so it's definitely not all the way up. It fits pretty comfortably in there. I'd say that's kind of the ideal one. If you have a 17-inch laptop, it'll probably go up to the top. It'll probably go like right up to the top, which, again, probably not a big deal at all. I think it'll still fit quite nicely. Let's go back inside, though. Now, as I mentioned, you know how hard it is to reach in there and do stuff? Like, getting your laptop out is one of those things, and also putting books in there. So let's try putting some textbooks in here. All right. There's one. Two. Now, oh, that reminds me. So one reason I'm having trouble is something that I even forgot about it until just now. Inside here, it's kind of hard to see, but there are some pockets right here. There are small, tiny flaps of cloth. Let's see if I can actually get in there and see it for you. You can kind of see like here, little flaps of cloth. It's made out of the same material as the lining of the bag, which is kind of a thin cloth. To be perfectly honest with you, that's one of the biggest shortcomings of this bag, as well as ThinkGeek's bag of holding, but certainly this one more so than that. The organization, just ways to put stuff in there, there's not really much organizational compartments, so that makes it kind of hard. But when you're putting these bags in there, or these books in there rather, sometimes you do get caught on there. I've gotten caught on that compartment each time I've been putting a book in there. I think we're up to 4 now. 4. Let's try to put this big one in here. Again, getting caught on that little compartment. And let's see if we can fit one more small one in here. So now with this 6th one, given all the books that we've put in here now, we're starting to hit this pocket. We're starting to catch on the stuff from the inside. So that's something to consider. If you're putting a lot of books in there, you are going to run into this stuff in this pocket. Speaking of this pocket, one thing I didn't mention is that if you have an e-reader or something small like that, this is my Kindle, you can fit this in there quite nicely. It fits pretty well. I imagine that a Fire, Amazon Fire would fit in there. Regular size iPads, I don't think it would fit in there. It'd be a very tight squeeze, and I don't think you would want your iPad fitting in there like that. But I definitely think that Amazon Fires, Kindles, Nooks, small e-readers, Samsung, I don't remember what Samsung's is, but those in there, I think that would work. Now, let's close it up and show you just how it sits once we close it and we put all that stuff in there. Still maintains its shape, you know, it still looks like the same bag. And that's one thing I really do love about it. You know, it still looks great. One thing I didn't note before, after months of use, that's what the bottom of the canvas looks like. This is after sitting it on the ground, carrying it, throwing it around in my car. The canvas looks really, really good. And that's something I take into consideration. I don't know about you, but you know, if you want a bag that's going to last a while, you definitely want to make sure the bottom is taken care of. Now, what's interesting is that ThinkGeek didn't put any like leather stoppers here or make the bottom leather like a lot of JanSport bags would be. I know Bircherly does that to the corners of theirs, but he didn't really need to. The canvas is holding up really well. So that's something to make note of. But yeah, last thing I do want to note is when you pick it up, now that is kind of what I was talking about. This handle isn't very helpful, and it does make the bag sag just a hair. But I mean, not enough to make me hate the bag, for sure. But it is something to consider, you know, given that this is canvas. When you have a lot of weight pulling down on it, it's not going to, you know, maintain its shape. But yeah, that's all I've got for you on the backpack I'm holding. To be perfectly honest with you, I love this bag. Out of the 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 bags that I own, this is definitely one of my favorites. And, you know, to be perfectly honest with you, I think I like the backpack of holding more than I like the bag of holding. Like I said, I will have a review on the bag of holding coming up soon. So, you know, I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback on that. But if this video was helpful for you, if I helped you decide to get one or I helped you decide to not get one, like the video, comment below, let me know. I'll do that typical YouTuber like, comment, subscribe, you know, all that. I don't know what you're really subscribing to yet. It's just kind of my personal video channel thing. I don't really do regular things, but you know, whatever. If you liked it, if you want me to review more bags, or if you have any questions, like I said, like it, comment below, and I'll try to answer it. But yeah, thanks for watching if you made it this far. This is the backpack of holding, and it's a great, great backpack. But yeah, have a good one.